Hello students, as we were talking about reproduction in plant, in the last video I have discussed with you asexual reproduction. Today we will talk about sexual reproduction. So what is sexual reproduction? Sexual reproduction is defined as mode of reproduction in which fusion of gametes will take place and two parents are involved. And here we will talk about sexual reproduction in plants. So flowers are the reproductive part of a plant. They help the plant in sexual reproduction and producing fruits and seeds. In sexual reproduction, a male cell is produced by male part of a flower which fuses with the female cell produced by the female part of a flower. These cells are called as gamete and the fusion of these gametes is called as fertilization. Then we will talk about parts of a flower. You all have seen the beautiful flower in your garden, in your schools, and you must have seen different part of a flower. So we will just discuss them. Sepals. These are the green leaf-like outermost circle of the flower. All the sepals together formed as, they are called as calyx. Petals. These are the colorful and the most attractive part of the plant, of the flower. All the petals together form corolla. Then we have stamen. It is the male reproductive part of a flower. All these stamens, there are so many stamens which are present in a flower and which is made up of two parts. One is anther, that is bilobed structure, and there is a long tube-like structure which is called as filament. Similarly, pistil, it is the female reproductive part of a flower. In the center, it has three parts: stigma, style, and ovary. Then you can see in this diagram, which is shown self-pollination and cross-pollination. Before discussing self-pollination and cross-pollination, we are just discussing different kind of a flower: unisexual flower and bisexual flower. The flower which contain only one reproductive organ, either male or the female part, are called unisexual flower. Example: papaya, watermelon, cucumber, etc. Bisexual flower, the flower that contain both the reproductive part, male and female, in a single flower are called bisexual flower, like rose, mustard, hibiscus, which we call as China rose. Then pollination. Pollination is a process of transfer of the pollen grain from anther of a flower to the stigma of the flower. And you must have seen the insects which are sitting on the flower. They are visiting one flower and another flower. You must have seen honeybees, you must have seen butterflies that are visiting different flowers. So that is why the flowers are so beautiful, colored, they produce scent, they give nectar. Because nectar and pollens are the rewards for the insects. That's why they visit again and again to the flower. And unknowingly they are pollinating the flower, which is very important for the formation of fruit. So what is pollination? The transfer of the pollen grains is called as pollination. It is of two types: self-pollination and cross-pollination. When the pollen grain from anther of one flower reaches to the stigma of the same flower, this is called self-pollination. And in cross-pollination, when the pollen of a flower land on the stigma of another flower of the same plant or that of the different plant of the same kind, is called as cross-pollination. Then after pollination, another important phenomena, that is fertilization. The cell which result after the fusion of gamete is called zygote. Zygote will give rise to embryo and that will later develop into fruits and seeds. Then how fruits and seeds are formed? After the fertilization, the ovary part of the flower develop to fruit and the ovule develop into seeds. Then for the germination of the new plant, there is a mechanism which is very important, that is seed dispersal. Seeds and the fruits of the plants are carried away by the wind, water and animals. Winged seeds such as those of drumstick and maple, and light seeds of grasses or hairy seeds of ak, madar, and hairy fruits of sunflower get blown off with the wind to far away places. You must have seen in hilly areas there are pine trees, and the seeds of the pines can travel a very long distance, even 100 kilometers distance, because they have wings, they are lightweight, they are protected by the seed coat, so that protect them in even harsh environment. Some seeds are dispersed by water. These fruit seeds usually develop floating ability in the form of spongy or fibrous outer coat, as in coconut. Some seeds are dispersed by animals, especially spiny seeds with hooks which get attached to the body of animals and carried to the distant places, example xanthemum. Some seeds are dispersed when fruit bursts with the sudden jerks. The seeds are scattered far from the parent's plant. This happens in the case of castor and balsam. Then germination of seed. Seeds contain plant embryo in a resting state which begins to grow only under the favorable condition. When we grow a seeds, when it get the favorable condition, it get the optimum temperature, it get the optimum water, it get the air and all the conditions which are essential for the germination of a seeds, the seeds grow and it forms seedling. And the seedling grow faster and ultimately form a new plant. This is how the reproduction will take place. This is how the new plants will form. I hope you have enjoyed this lesson. Thank you so much.